It's Is this where she wants us?
What am I doing?
You're showing all your hard work.
So we have been here for about 19 months now. We're on 8 acres in southern Arizona, and I took a couple months to put in this driveway to get it all just perfect so that it leads up to the house. We've been working to study permaculture, ways to do rainwater harvesting so that we can basically get as much out of the 6 inches of rain a year that we do get here. We do also have a well, and so I use that for all of our irrigation for the garden. And then I have a gray water system set up to water non-edible plants, and then actually I'm now growing edible plants above the gray water system in crates where there's a barrier between that. So if there's anything in my detergent that might possibly be bad for plants, it's not going to get all the way up to that, and not doing root crops. This bamboo was 15 feet tall right before we moved in. It was all cut down and then burnt out, and then now it's all grown back. So it's come back to life on 2 sides where I watered it a little bit, and it's not in the middle because I haven't watered it. But bamboo is a wonderful windbreak. You can use the stalks for like a billion different things. And so I originally, when we first moved in, I wanted to get rid of it and just take it all out and get a tractor and dig up the roots. And now I love it because it's windy here a lot, and it just kind of dances in the wind and provides a windbreak for the north side of the house. And so now I'm encouraging it to spread other areas. So I put in, just in the last couple of weeks, 3 citrus trees and 2 desert hardy trees, which are the Palo Verde trees. They look really skinny because they're straggler trees the first couple of years. And then they actually will grow to have a very wide canopy with a very filtered shade because the leaves on them are very tiny and skinny. And then I just threw in some other plants throughout because I hope to put in a fence here, and then everything that is behind me here is going to be garden and maybe pond next year, because there is where there used to be a round pen, and so we think that's a great place to just put the future pond.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we do that, we'll have duck enclosure out here, and I want to have a greenhouse and also a root cellar out here. So with this area right here, we have 3.5 now dead cottonwood trees, but this was all just sand when we moved in, and I have all these crazy before pictures. But what I did now about 10 months ago was I sheet mulched this, and I put down cardboard boxes and aged steer manure, which we found on the corner of the property from previous owners, and put that over it, and then hay. And then that's all we did for a couple of months. And then I'd say at some point, 3 or 4 months in, I planted, which you can barely see because of the weeds in the grass now, but there's a bush there, and that's just to attract bees. And then there's blackberries underneath there somewhere. And so this is just grasses that just shot up at the end of summer, because in the summer we don't get a lot of weeds. We get actually weeds that you can eat. These grass weeds come up after our summer heat leaves. And so I'm leaving them now as a ground cover, and so they can kind of break up the soil a little bit, because nothing else has been in there for a long time. Same exact thing with this bed. It was all sheet mulched at the same time as well. When you come in here, these pomegranate trees were here when we moved in, so they're at least 5 or 6 years old. They were pruned really badly before we moved in, And so they need some work on them now because the tops basically are all dead. So with these two beds, I did sunken beds. I actually tilled this because this was level with the sidewalk there, and it was hard as a rock and like really, really light brown. So I came in and I tilled both of these spots and then dug them down. And then we have here tomatoes, which actually didn't produce hardly anything this year at all. And then peppers, okra, spearmint, peppers, cowpeas. I put cowpeas all throughout a few different places, even though I figured I probably wouldn't eat them because I'd never eaten them because they repair the soil underneath with their roots. And I've been harvesting them because I have them all over the place and saving seed from the pods. So I basically did like one packet of seeds, and now I have a whole bowl full of seeds that I can save. And then you can tell in the front yard that the bamboo runs all along this fence line here. And there are mosquitoes everywhere.
Yeah, I think I just got bit too.
They're really bad right there.
Oh, nasty little buggers.
Yes. So this was an idea that I got from permaculture, and it's to do a keyhole bed. And it's so that you can walk in and harvest all around you. They're generally a lot taller, and my idea was with just starting was it's done with cottonwood limbs that I found, actually that I cut up from one of the trees that I removed over there. And so it's a hardwood, so it can handle getting wet. And so just did it in that, and then there's wood underneath it, so it's also Hugelkultur because that's going to break down, and there's compost and all of that stuff. So the first thing I did in here was a salsa guild, and it didn't survive because it was too hot outside. So now I'm doing garlic, rainbow Swiss chard, and something else, which I just recently planted. There is a man right there. It's okay. He's just gonna want to sniff a lot. So the second keyhole bed that I put in, I did with brick and same compost or same idea. There's still sticks and everything under there, and I grew that arugula there, and then I added Brussels sprouts just recently. And then I have lots of failures. I have a peach tree that didn't survive, and then this is one of the trees that was dead when we moved in that I had to cut down. Over here, I wanted this bed. I also tilled this. It was very sandy, and I wanted it to be a medicinal bed. And the dogs run through it. And I wanted to repair the soil first. So that's wormwood, and that can be used medicinally. And then the aloe. But everything else I put in there, the cowpeas, are to repair the soil. And then I had some other things in there, like squash or something, and then they didn't survive the summer heat. This is an oleander bush that I put in to be a tree. A lot of people are scared of oleander because it is poisonous if your dogs eat it. So if you have little kids or little puppies, you wouldn't want to do it, but ours know better, and they don't mess
Chew
with
on
it.
things.
Yeah, and when it gets to be a tree, it's very fragrant. It's fragrant. It smells really great, and it's a really great shade tree. Another pepper plant, and then I've just planted some things in here recently. And this is a Chinese pistachio tree. It's in the pistachio family, but it's not a nut producing tree. This is the same one as the Chinese pistachio. They were here when we moved in, but they were not taken care of, so they almost died. This was another keyhole bed that I did, and when I originally put in this irrigation system, I had it coming all the way to here, but it was too long. There wasn't enough pressure, so I had to cut it off at that last one. So everything I had planted in here died because I had to water it by hand, which I didn't remember to do very often.
Yeah, you always have to make it as convenient as possible because human nature is such that you will take what is the priority, which is taking care of yourself and your kid before.
Yeah. Well, and you think, like when I put in the plants recently out at the gate, and I remember thinking, I'm going to pick better plants that can survive well, because I've planted out there before, and they all died. They were planted in the middle of the summer. And so this time I picked different types of plants that didn't need a lot of water, and I thought, I'll just go all the way out there every day and hand water them because I love them so much. And that's not what's happened.
It never happens that way, does it?
I did just buy a water hose though to actually leave out there so that I can just hook it up with my other one, so it makes it a lot easier. So it's more incentive to actually do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them to die. They're awesome trees.
Okay.
Is it going?
At the camera. Yes.
Okay.
And camera is here.
Okay.
Okay. So hey guys, I am with Elizabeth from Little Farm Big Dreams.
Yes.
Did I get it right?
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes I worry because we have the my little homestead project that used to be. Everybody keeps changing their channel names on me.
Yeah.
But Elizabeth has always been the same thing. So we are here at her homestead looking at her beautiful bamboo fence and all the work she's done on her little desert. I mean,
Homestead.
really, yeah.
Barren desert.
And it's gorgeous though. You come in and she has the most vibrant green of anywhere. And we're getting eaten alive.
Yeah, mosquitoes everywhere.
By mosquitoes. So make sure to go check out her channel after you see what she's done, because I think she's brilliant with some of the things that she's done. But we're going to go inside and continue our interview where we're not being sucked
Mauled
to
by
death.
mosquitoes.
Yes. So go check her out, and I will make sure that it's in the card and also in the description below.